have been sitting alone in the dark for the last hour, rewinding the same footage on my screen over and over again, and I still cannot fully process what I am looking at, because what happened after the final bell rang at WrestleMania 42 was not supposed to be seen by anyone. And yet here we are, and I need to talk about it right now before another second goes by. Because if you think the most important moment of WrestleMania 42 happened inside that ring, you are absolutely wrong. Let me take you back to where it all began, because you need to fully understand the magnitude of what Oba Femi accomplished before we get to what happened after. Night 2 of WrestleMania 42 at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada was already buzzing with an energy that was unlike anything the wrestling world had felt in years. The match everyone had circled on their calendar was Brock Lesnar, the Beast incarnate, the most dominant force this industry has ever produced across 2 full decades, going one-on-one with Oba Femi, the Nigerian ruler, a man who has been on a freight train of momentum since his main roster call-up and has shown no signs of slowing down for anyone. From the opening bell, Lesnar did exactly what Lesnar always does. He grabbed Femi, drove him into Suplex City, and made the entire stadium hold its breath with a textbook F5 that would have finished any other human being on this planet. But Oba Femi is not any other human being. He rose to his feet like the impact meant nothing to him, gathered himself, and then delivered a chokeslam followed by his devastating fall from grace finishing move and covered Brock Lesnar cleanly, right in the center of the ring, for the 3 count that changed everything. What followed that pinfall was one of the most emotionally overwhelming moments I have ever witnessed in professional wrestling. Brock Lesnar slowly sat up, looked around the arena one final time, and then did something that nobody was prepared for. He removed his gloves. He took off his boots. He placed them deliberately in the center of the ring, as if he was leaving something behind that belonged there, something that was always meant to stay in that ring even after he was gone. And then he walked up the entrance ramp for what everyone immediately understood was the last time, stopped at the top to embrace Paul Heyman, and the tears that streamed down both of their faces said everything that words could not. The Beast was gone. 25 years of dominance, of championship reigns, of main events and legendary rivalries and moments that redefined what was possible inside a wrestling ring, all of it came to a close in Las Vegas on a Saturday night. The era had ended. But here is what has been consuming every single thought I have had since that final bell rang, and this is the part that I genuinely cannot shake. Brock Lesnar did not simply lose a match. He retired. He walked away. And the man who made that happen, the man who stood over the Beast and forced that conclusion, now carries something that goes far beyond a victory on his record. Oba Femi did not just win a match at WrestleMania. He closed the book on the most feared chapter in WWE history, because you have to remember what Brock Lesnar represented. He was the man who ended The Undertaker's undefeated WrestleMania streak back at WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans, a moment that stunned the entire world and shifted the entire gravitational center of professional wrestling. For over a decade, that act defined Lesnar's legacy as much as anything else he ever did. And now Oba Femi has not just beaten Lesnar, he has retired him, which means the weight that Femi now carries on his shoulders is almost incomprehensible. He is not just a winner. He is the man who ended the streak. That is a lineage of legendary proportions, and proving he deserves to stand in that company is the challenge that now defines everything ahead of him. And then came the moment that I will carry with me for the rest of my life as a wrestling fan, the moment that I was not expecting, the moment that I genuinely did not believe was real when I first saw the footage. After the post-show interviews had wrapped up, after Oba Femi had stood in front of the cameras and called out Roman Reigns with the kind of quiet, self-assured confidence that only a man who just retired Brock Lesnar can project, he turned and walked back through the corridors toward his locker room. The hallway was settling into that post-show stillness, crew members packing equipment away, the noise of the crowd now a distant memory, the Las Vegas night pressing in around the building. And then, stepping out from the shadows with that slow, unmistakable presence that has commanded arenas and locker rooms for 30 years, came the Undertaker. He did not say anything at first. He simply stood there and looked at Oba Femi with those eyes that have seen everything this business has to offer, eyes that have witnessed triumph and tragedy and every shade of human drama that a wrestling career can produce. He looked at the man who had just done what he himself could never do, the man who had taken the person who ended his sacred streak and made him walk away from the business forever. And then, after a silence that must have felt like an eternity to everyone present, the Undertaker extended his hand. Femi reached out and took it, and the two giants stood there together in that quiet corridor with the full weight of wrestling history pressing down on the moment. Then the Undertaker leaned in close and spoke in that deep, graveled voice that has sent chills through opponents and audiences alike for 3 decades. He told Femi that he had been watching him for some time now. He reminded him that he had once told him to defend his yard, and then he told him that the yard was bigger now and that he could not allow anyone to take it from him. With one final nod, the dead man turned and walked back into the darkness, leaving Oba Femi standing alone in that corridor with his chest broad, his posture tall, and his eyes carrying the kind of emotion that a man fights hard to keep contained when something truly monumental has just happened to him. I have been turning that moment over in my mind from every possible angle, and here is where I keep landing. The Undertaker had absolutely no obligation to be there. He is retired. He has accomplished everything there is to accomplish in this business and then some. His legacy is set in stone and does not require any further action on his part, but he made the choice to be in that building, to wait in that corridor, and to seek out Oba Femi specifically because he recognized something. He saw in Femi what he once saw in himself, a young giant standing at the threshold of genuine greatness with the entire future of the business stretching out before him. And he understood that this was a moment that required acknowledgement from someone who knew exactly what it meant. There are going to be all kinds of opinions flying around about this in the coming days. Some fans are going to say this moment was a long time coming and felt like the most natural torch passing the business has seen in years. Others are going to argue that it was the perfect emotional conclusion to an already perfect night of professional wrestling. But my honest, unfiltered take is this. When The Undertaker told Oba Femi to defend the yard, he was not simply offering words of encouragement. He was transferring a responsibility that he has carried since the moment Lesnar ended his streak. The yard, as a concept, as a legacy, as a standard of excellence at the grandest stage of them all, was taken from The Undertaker in New Orleans. Tonight in Las Vegas, Oba Femi took it back, and the dead man's blessing in that corridor was his way of officially recognizing that the stewardship of that legacy now belongs to the Nigerian ruler. That is not a small thing. That is The Undertaker essentially saying that Femi is now responsible for the soul of WrestleMania itself. And now consider what is directly ahead. Oba Femi has already called out Roman Reigns, the reigning New World Heavyweight Champion, declaring in no uncertain terms that the tribal chief is next on his list before the year is out. After everything that happened at WrestleMania 42, after retiring the Beast and receiving the blessing of the dead man himself in the same night, it is genuinely difficult to argue against the idea that Oba Femi is not only ready for that challenge, but destined for it. He has beaten the man who was considered the final boss of WWE for 20 years. He has earned the respect of the most mythologized figure in the history of WrestleMania. And he has done all of it with a composure and a force of will that suggests we have not come close to seeing the ceiling of what this man is capable of. The torch has been passed. The yard has changed hands. In a quiet corridor in Las Vegas, Nevada, The Undertaker looked at Oba Femi and saw the future of this business, and he made sure the future knew exactly what was expected of it. The dead man's era belongs to the history books now, and the Nigerian ruler's era has officially, undeniably, irrevocably begun. I want to know what you think about all of this, so get into the comments right now and tell me. Do you believe Oba Femi can go on from here and dethrone Roman Reigns to become the true face of WWE? Does The Undertaker's blessing change the way you see Femi's trajectory? And did this moment hit you as hard as it hit me? Let me know everything. If this story gave you chills, give this video a like because it genuinely deserves it, and make sure you are subscribed to Wrestling Juice with the notification bell turned on, because the Nigerian ruler has set his sights on the tribal chief, and every step of that journey is going to be covered right here. The dead man has spoken, the ruler has risen, and the hunt for Roman Reigns has only just begun.